Right, there we go. Real live, outdoor live. Boom! You get a real close-up look at my sunburn right now. Oof. Right. Here's a look at the outdoors. Great outdoors. This is a great outdoors. The team getting warmed up. It's nice. So we do a live about what's stopping your progress while watching people get their progress on. Hey, Jill Lindley. Hi, Joel. You check out the view, Jill. There be the team view. Look at that. Loving it. Trying to one-handedly get this bottle open now. Oh, this could be disastrous for the one-handed thing. Right, who else we got? Unit Solanke. Just gonna sip. I can't have too much because we're only outdoors. We're gonna hear Sarah start screaming at people in a minute for the Met class. Hey, lovely. Oh, it's all entertainment right now. People are very confused and walking past like, oh, it's outdoors. Hey, Kate. Kate, we're back. Look at that, Kate. We found some shade though this time. It's a little bit better. Fortunately, Kate, you didn't get the shade on Saturday. You got the damn ass heat. So, today's live then is on what's stopping your progress. Oh, Pooja Patel. Oh God, here comes Boss. Boss is wearing shorts.
Yeah, shorts.
Look at that.
I've lost weight, look.
Oh my gosh. He's lost weight. It's a miracle. We can't stop the progress of Sam's white legs though, apparently. We just have to enjoy them. Okay, so today's live. So what's stopping your progress? So it's an interesting one. It's one that it's come up a lot over the last couple of weeks. It's something that Sam even posted on our Insider for our clients today to discuss and just to see where people's thoughts are at with it. So let's go for a walk actually while we're here. Let's get out of the way. So, thinking about our progress, I think when I'm thinking about progress with a client is first trying to understand, or not trying to, first understanding what it is that you want to make progress on. So what is it that you're trying to achieve, right? So if you have a thought in mind, like this is what I want to achieve, and I'm setting out a set of goals or a set of requirements to achieve it, what am I not doing? So what am I not taking action on or doing right now that would help me work towards my goals? So some of the obvious ones we're going to say is obviously we're going to talk about health and fitness. So if you are not able to achieve your health and fitness goals, what is it first that you're actually wanting to achieve? So what's your end result, right? Give it a name, give it a title, give it something, because then we can start to break down, okay, what actions do I think, I know, let's use language, do I know I need to be taking to complete that action, right? Because if I was to like spin it around and go, oh, let's have a look at these guys are doing some action, okay, so they're taking some action towards what they want to achieve in terms of their health and fitness. If you're thinking to yourself, right, what is it that's stopping my progress? Why am I not achieving progress in health and fitness? Well, there's a question saying, right, let's just write down or list down actions that I'm not doing right now. So there's a list of actions that I'm not doing right now. What are they, right? And then start to attach some reasons in your head that they are not happening, right? Or examples of why you think they're not happening right now. Now, when you notice what you're not doing, you'll notice what Sam and I call the stories. Sometimes actually in the last week, some of you might have heard me interrupt you, say, stop telling me a story, and start giving me something else. So start giving me the truth, not the story. Okay, so what is a story, you might say? Now, I've talked about excuses in the same stream, perhaps you might argue, but stories are the stories we tell ourselves for a reason why something is not happening or an action is not happening in our lives. A story is, I can't do this because, or I'm different from other people because. I've heard that a lot over the last 6 weeks. It's different for me. I can't do the Met class all the time. It's different for me I can't go out and do my steps because I don't like the rain. It's different for me because ... I've heard that a lot. And it is, I'm going to call it a story because it is a story we tell ourselves, because actually, whilst we are different, right? We are different people. That's what makes us different about ourselves, and we have to be different. It's the emotions that we attach to those differences to stop us doing something. So if you really think about it, is it the truth? Is it the truth that something can't happen because, or is it the story you tell yourself? Because actually, if we take a list and understanding of those things, right, if we start to tell themselves it enough, it's like rewind. It's like Groundhog Day, isn't it? There's always the same reason why you're not able to do something. Just the same thing over and over and over again. It's the same reason why you can't achieve something. But then what happens? If you keep telling yourself the same thing, it becomes a belief. So it becomes a belief of why you can't achieve something. The story becomes reality, right? That's what's interesting. And you know, this is always, if someone disagrees with me, please do, right? And I had a chat with somebody, a client, right before this, right? And she said, she was asking me about this. She said, give me an example of a story. And I said, right, an example of a story. So an example of a story would be something we hear, yo, Pooja, something we hear quite commonly. I've not been able to lose weight because I've had kids. And she said, oh yeah. Do you know what? I used to say that, Helen. I used to say because I've had kids, I couldn't lose weight. I wasn't able to. And then she said, and now I realise it's not true because I've still got kids and I've lost weight. I was like, oh, well, that's the story, right? Because that's a story that becomes a belief because you hear it over and over again. You hear it from yourself and you hear it from others. You start to hear it all around you. You start to become your belief. So you start to see it as a truth, a fact. When in reality, like if I challenge the same with that particular client, like she said, the truth is that's not. It was a story I told myself. I told myself a story that I wouldn't have to start doing something because I had kids, so I wasn't going to achieve it. And I said, oh, well, let's get into that then. Because this is where it gets interesting, right? Around the stories, right? So I said, all right, okay, so how much was it that, would you say that the reason why you told yourself a story was it was better to stay safe than fear failure and start something and not lose weight and then put yourself out there to tell everybody, yeah, it doesn't matter, I'm going to lose weight even if I've got kids. She's like, oh, yeah. You know, I'm going to be honest, it's exactly that, Helen. I was just literally just scared. I was fearful, right? So I told myself the story over and over again because I was too scared if I failed that I would look like a failure. I would look like I was being judged. I would look like people would look at me and go, take the mick, right? Would take the piss out of her, say, oh, look at her. She made a fool of herself, right? And it was enough to stop her taking action and enough for her to believe her own story, right? So it became a belief. She believed her own hype. So she believed that she wouldn't lose weight for that reason, right? The thing is about that is quite a common one. The having children one is a common one. And I'm not saying it's not valid, right? It's a valid story. It's still a story, right? Let's have a look at some other ones. Well, like some of you might have stories you tell yourself already. What were mine then? Oh, not about health and fitness, but I didn't drive. I had my license at 19, and I crashed my dad's car soon after. Oh, he loved that. And then after that, I didn't drive again. I cycled everywhere. And I told myself the story that it had been too long, that at 35, it's just too long now. I enjoy cycling, it's really healthy. I don't need, if I can't see anybody on a bike, I don't need to see them. Story. Was that the truth? No. Do I drive now? Yes, I do. So actually, I told myself a story because I was scared of getting back in the car in case I crashed it again, right? Now, it's not true. Have I crashed this car? Yes, I crashed this car, right? But guess what? I dealt with it because I dealt with the fear. It was only minor. So actually, that's the thing, right? There's stories around everything we tell ourselves for not doing something because we're scared of an outcome that might not be in our favour. So we avoid it. We avoid it like the plague. When in reality, actually, well, let's see, how would you... I know how I deal with it with clients, right? That's how I would deal with it right now. So if you think about all the things you tell yourself, right, it's always great to write them down. And I love writing them down with clients because firstly, the act of writing it down makes connection. So it makes connection, pen to paper, does something for somebody, right? They start to really get into it, start to really connect with what it is they really want to write in a sentence. They take some more time to think about the emotion they're attaching to it. And once it's written down, and it kind of blends one of the lines I did this week as well, it's starting to ask yourself, is it really true? So it's asking yourself, is this a true fact? Or if I reverse it and look at it differently, or I flip it back on itself, right? If I say this is not true, or this is not a fact, or I am actually, if I say to myself I can't drive, which is not true, right? It's a story. I can't drive because I've crashed a car. No, it's a story. When I flip it back and say I can, right? I can do it. I can achieve it. That's the thing. It's like saying, okay, if I can take this and look at the reality, is it a fact that what I'm telling myself is the truth? All right, Sam's watching, but he's over there. I'm going to wave at him. And actually waving at him online. It's awkward. He can just come over and watch on the screen, right? But that's the thing, once you've written down and once you actually start to look at the fact and ask yourself, is it actually a fact? Hey, Mirkari, is it actually a fact or is it a story? That's where you start to really flip it back on itself, right? Because the story has to become unravelled for you to move forward, because these things will hold someone back. That's what's interesting about this. This kind of behaviour or this kind of storytelling will hold yourself back. Comparison, it was always one. I won't achieve this because they're better at it than me. Story, not fact. A reason not to do something. A reason not to move forward and take action. Bowing into a fear, whatever you want to call it. Comparison is always a huge one. But it's a story. That person is better than me because I am better. Imagine if you tell yourself that, rather than say to yourself all the time, that person's better than me. I'm different from them because I can't do it whilst they can. Because as you flip that back on yourself, say actually I can do it better than them. Right? That's a powerful statement. That's a balls to the wall statement to say actually I can do whatever I want. I am better than the person I compare to. That's taking back some power, and that's taking back some control as well. That's taking back the ability to move forward, to take the progress step. Because once you realise it's balls, the story you tell yourself is rubbish. Like, how many times have we all done it? Like, say, that job seems out of my reach, or I can't possibly move house, I can't afford it, or all of it, right? It's the stories that stop us taking action or making change, right? When all of it is possible. Let me just sit down. Oh, I'm down now. Oh, here we go. Yeah, really nice shot. There you go. Get part view, right? But they are stories. But the thing is it's like every story, it has a beginning, middle and end. And the regrettable thing is a lot of people stay in the middle. So they stay in the middle chapter because they're too scared of even writing down the statements or writing down what they really believe, right? They can give me a reason, I can give me an excuse, but to write it down and then accept that it exists is a very powerful action. So out of interest, I would love to know if anybody watching, because some of you probably commented on this, the stories you might have told yourselves for not taking action before, or the reasons. Because if I think, other than the driving, stories I told myself, oh, good one, oh, my friends are like this, my friends are the same as me, so I don't want to be different. It's a story. I don't want to change because I can't change because this is how my friends behave. Story, not true, not fact. What else? Good ones you hear is I've been diagnosed with something, therefore I can't. Right? It's not a reason we can't do something. You start to use it as a reason, or the story why you're not successful at something, or as a challenge. Right? That is unfortunate, but it is a common thing that we hear. When actually, if you take stock, it's like the same thing as talking to that client about losing weight and having kids. Actually, the reality is you can do whatever you want, as long as you unlock the story and understand why you haven't taken action already. They're getting into the Met class now. I feel like some people have come on just to get a little insight into what they're going to get into later. Sorry guys, you have to wait till they turn up to see what you're getting let into. Frankly, it's going to be interesting. There's at least some shade at the minute. That's a true story. There is some shade. So what about anybody else who's watching? Any stories you've ever told yourself? Okay, I bet you've told yourself some stories along the way. Show. Oh, yes. Oh, call people out that will disappear now. I don't want to share my story. Alright, let's do a recap then. So first, it's always understanding, like if you're not moving, if there's something stopping your progress, if something holding you back, right, it usually is something that you're scared of, right? It usually is something that is, it's like fear the fear and do it anyway, right? It is something there that's stopping you. It's so emotional. It's something you've probably told yourself for ages, again, if not years, and it's been on and on and on and on repeat for such a long time that you accept it to be a hard, cold fact, because it becomes the story. Right? You become the story. You become your own hype, almost, is sometimes what you hear when people talk about it. You actually becomes, the story becomes us. All right? So it's one of those things where people say it's different from me because, right? I'm different from everybody else. I can't achieve it because I have a different job. I have a different relationship. I have a different mindset. I have different finances. I have a different everything, right? And yeah, like I said, it's true. We're all different. It's part of the differences in life that make us great. But it's the emotion we attach to that difference that somehow becomes the reason why we can't move forward. It becomes a blocker. It becomes the thing that hampers our progress and stops us getting the things in life that we really want to achieve, whatever it is. And again, you list the things that I said, right? So I wanted to drive, but I told myself it was too late, or I crashed the car, right? That's the story. Or I couldn't lose weight because all my friends are the same and it'd be too hard. It's not real, it's not a story. It's like literally the client I was just talking about it said, yeah, I told myself I couldn't lose weight because I'd had kids. It's not true. Wow, I've had kids. I've lost weight. I'm still losing weight with kids. But the story became who she was. Like, I'll stay overweight and stay unhappy because I can't lose weight because I've got kids and I can't go to the gym because I've got kids. And, you know, it's just what happens. I've had kids now. That's how I'm meant to be. It became a story. And that's the thing. It becomes the thing. And then I said, like, how do you deal with it? The first thing is, like, actually starting to write down those things. Write them down. List them. What is it? What is the story? What is the stories? There's usually more than one. Like, I am something, right? I am, I don't know, what would it be? My husband would leave me if I did this. I can't do it. I'm not capable. I don't have the skills, right? For all reasons. Kate saying, I'm not letting that hold me back anymore. That's interesting, anymore, Kate, right? So that means that at some point, let me kick my football in a minute. At some point, it was you. At some point, it was your reality. At some point, you believed the story, right? You believed the story that you couldn't do something because age or knees or money or time. Time. How many times is the story about time? I can't do that. It's different for me. I don't have the time. Is it? Is it true that you don't have the time? Or is still, again, it's still another version of a story? See, when you don't have a stand, you get to shake your hand. Right? It's still a story. So, Kate, it'd be interesting what you used to say to yourself, a reason why you couldn't do something, or why it couldn't become a fact. I'd love to know what it was for you, because I couldn't guess. And it's always good to hear it from direct. Oh yeah, I've seen it. Okay, I told myself for years I can't do something because I'm dyslexic. Yeah, you go there, right? Oh, that's a good one. And it leads on, like I said it earlier about having diagnosis for something. It's not a criticism, it's an observation. Some people become their diagnosis, right? So they become, it becomes a reason for things, right? So it's like saying I can't do that course because I'm dyslexic, or I can't make that job application because I'll get a spelling wrong because I'm dyslexic, or I could get qualifications at school, I'm dyslexic, or it becomes the story. The story leads, it becomes the reason before, if that makes sense. It becomes who you are as a person, like a definition almost. When actually anything's achievable, like Kate's achieving whatever she wants, regardless, right? She's not holding it back because it's not a true fact, right? It's not a true story, but it is a story, right? So removing it is like removing blockers. It's like removing the clamps, isn't it? It's like removing it off the car and seeing it go straight off, right? But the thing is to realise is we're putting them on ourselves. We're putting them on ourselves because we're believing our own stories. And that, in that, when you start to believe it as well, that's when somebody becomes unstoppable. Hey, Hafsa. Hey, Sim. Timana, even. So, what else is story-wise? Oh, who else got stories? Once upon a time. I always did think that I wouldn't be able to get a degree as well because I wasn't as clever as my sister. Comparison, right? It's just what comparison after comparison. I can't get a degree, so I'm not as intelligent as my sister. It won't work for me. I'll be a failure, right? Again, so what do they say? We tell ourselves a story, because to believe the story and not put ourselves in a position of failure is more comfortable, right? Kate could decide that dyslexia is a reason why she's not going to do a course or change her life, or she can put herself in a position that's uncomfortable, that's scary, that is full of fear, and then face it head on and say, no, actually I am going to do this, I'm going to apply for the course and I'm going to do the coursework, I'm going to change my life, because it's not a reason not to do it at all. It's a story I've made, but it is a story, it's not the truth. Because again, if anything, it's the fear of failure or the fear of failing that stops people. But I think what some people don't understand, may sound harsh, but actually to some degree they're failing already because they're not doing anything. They're staying where they are, they're not making progress. They'd rather stay where they are than putting themselves in what they perceive to be failure, when actually they're just doing it in silence. They're doing it quietly, secretly to themselves. They're not even telling anyone that they're aiming to do something. It's just not making progress. So every day they're silently judging themselves and silently in that fear, when actually what it takes is some action and some movement on it for them to help them realise that it's not actually that scary, right? Because I talk about this a lot. It's not actually that scary when you get going at all, which Kate has discovered as well. Well, I can drive, despite having a minor dinks. Everyone survives my driving. The cleanliness of my car is a different situation, but everyone survives. But that's the thing, actually. The reality is, once you're on the other side of it, we all know that it's really not as scary as the thought of doing nothing at all. So Kate's saying I'd rather try and fail than not to try at all. Yes, very, very true. That's the thing, that some people, though, Kate, unfortunately, and it's the way of people as well. I understand it. I've done it as well. I've admitted it. Like, it's comfortable to stay where you are. It's easy to stay where you are. It's easy not to fall over if you just stay still, right? So it's easy not to fall over when you just stay still. But it doesn't get you what you want, really. Long term, it doesn't. It really just holds you up in the same story that goes on and on and on and on. I'll bet, actually, if you think about it, if you all know somebody you've worked with, or someone in your family even, who has said they're going to do something for maybe, I don't know, their entire life, right? But they've not managed it. If you ever listen to them and observe what they say, I wonder how many of you can hear some of this with what I'm describing now, right? Maybe at a certain point in life where maybe they've let the opportunity go, right? Where they haven't made the changes, when they haven't moved forward, when they haven't made the progress that they've set their heart on and said they're going to do for most of their life, and have not made it. When you hear it, what do you hear? Because we always say, like, it's excuses. The thing is, to that person, it's a story. It's real. It's tangible. It has emotion. It has clarity. It has solid. It's rigid, right? It's their life. It's their story. And every time they tell it, it becomes more real and more believable to them, and more reason where it keeps them where they are. So, what happens when you move them, though? Let's go into that. So, what happens when you move them? Well, start over again, potentially. But it suddenly becomes unleashed, right? There's no story, there's no reason to hold you back. There's no fear. Imagine you could do anything in life with no fear. And someone could tell you, whatever you try, whatever you do, you cannot fail. There's no fear. You'll always succeed. Imagine how much of us would actually just go ahead and do it. Oh, I would. Well, you know, every adventure you go on, every adventure, Kate, right? Every adventure we go on, we always get the best result. We always get the best outcome. We always get the best experience we can with no fear, right? No failure, just success, right? What would you do? You do it in a heartbeat. You do it in a heartbeat. And the thing is, if you look back at every decision you've made, like for those of you who become members, that would have been a very scary thing to do, right? Doing nothing before and telling yourself a story that you couldn't make healthy choices before because, right? That's where you believed your own story. And then you walk through the door, scary, but taking action, right? Not actually saying to yourself, this isn't going to be me, I'm going to change my story, right? And it's not so bad on the other side, is it? Right? At all. And you can take that and look at any other decision you've made in your life where you've actually just, in the nicest possible way, grown a pair and done it, right? What's happened? It's always been good. It's always been better. This is what's funny, isn't it? When you always make those scary decisions, on the other side, it's always better. I can drive and see my friends now. That is better. I can go outside the city limits of cycling. That is better, right? I can drive my nieces somewhere. That is better, right? But the whole amount of fear and storytelling on the flip side stopped me experiencing all the good things. And that's where it comes down to. So anything you're telling you a story about right now, you have to remember that on the other side, there is a very different experience that you'll be glad that you did it and you stopped telling yourself a story and just get on with it. Like I said the other day, get on with it. Get it done. Take action. Stop procrastinating. Stop believing your own story and start a new one. Start a new one full of facts and truth. And that, it's a little bit shorter one today, to be fair. If anybody else wants to comment, we've got the Jill, we've got the Kate, we've got the Sang. Well, I'll tell you what's next, Kate, that's the thing. There's a new one, there's a next for you, Kate, I feel it. It's true though, Kate's right. It's best to try and fail and not try at all. What makes someone feel like more of a failure? Not doing it, or at least giving it a go. I know which one is right for me. Although I feel the fear of looking at Sam's legs in shorts right now. It's kind of scary. I'm not going to flip the camera around, so I don't want anybody else to experience the fear. I feel like he might have shaved his legs though for this as well. Right, I'll be back tomorrow night for another instalment. And unless you're coming down tonight, which would be cool, because it's quite lovely this evening, and I'll see you later. Bye.